Hello my friends, welcome back. We are going book shopping. Today my plan is to check out 3 new bookstores that I've never been to before, and they all happen to be in Wynnum. I was doing a bunch of research about bookstores in Brisbane, specifically like indie bookstores, and I wrote like a long list of all the different stores that I want to check out eventually, but it just so happens that 3 of them are in Wynnum. I've been to Wynnum a handful of times. I've never spent like a lot of time here, so I don't know much about the area as a whole, but I've just got to park in what I think might be like one of the main streets. The first bookstore we're going to go to is called Little Gnome. You're kidding. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I just have a place in my heart for gnomes. I don't know what it is, but I think they're so funny and so cute, and I do tend to collect them, and the fact that there's a bookstore called Little Gnome really just feels like it was made for me. I think it's also a cafe, so we're going to check it out. I think the ones that we're going to look at today will probably be on the smaller side, so I don't know how much footage I'll be able to get because I'm scared of filming in front of people, and if it's a small bookstore, it's kind of harder to hide that you're filming. So we'll see how we go today. I walked over to Little Gnome, and I would say that this store is more so a cafe with books. Like, it definitely had quite a few books, but I would say it's more so a cafe, but it was really sweet because the lady that was serving people at the counter knew so many people by name. It seemed like such a community, and they definitely had some great books, but it just wasn't a huge selection. So then I took like a 2-minute walk down the street to our next location, which was called Gigglefit Grammar. And this was definitely mostly used books. I don't know if they also had new books. At least from what I could tell, it was mostly used books, but it was such a vibe in here. They had so many books packed in here, like really just packed to the brim. There were some really vintagey looking books. I think they also had records and comic books, I think, as well, which was just such a vibe. Just so cool to see all of the different things they had. Also, if you do end up going here, make sure you walk through the doorway that they have at the back of the store, because it leads into another room that is, again, packed to the brim with more books. And I think this is where they had their romance book, which seemed to me like mostly those historical kind of Bridgerton vibe books, which is not a bad thing, just not my usual type. This is definitely one of those stores where if you took the time to look through things, there would definitely be some hidden gems. I didn't end up finding anything from here, but I definitely see myself coming back. The next store I couldn't walk to, so I did end up driving here, and it's kind of like in a little mall, so it's not as easy to spot from the road, but this is the Mad Hatter's bookstore, and I think this one might have been my favorite. I just loved the vibes. This is just what I want every bookstore to feel like. None of the bookstores that I went to today were as big as like a QBD or a Dimmicks. However, I would say that this store was probably my favorite in terms of the selection that they had. These ones were all new books, and they just had your classic fiction section, non-fiction, YA, a really cute little children's section at the back. If you have kids, you definitely have to check it out. And it also seemed like they sold products from like local artists and local small businesses and stuff, which I just always think is so sweet. And I found some of the books that I was looking for here, which was amazing. I finished looking at the 3 bookstores that I wanted to look at in Wynnum, but I also think I'm going to pop into the library here. I love looking in different libraries, and if you're a Brisbane girl, Wynnum is one of the Brisbane City library locations, so if you have a Brisbane City library card, you can borrow from this location. So I thought, why not go have a squiz and see what the selection is like, because I definitely think some libraries have better selections than others, and I like to do little comparisons, so I'm going to see what Wynnum has to offer. The Wynnum library is located on top of the Woolworths, and overall I think they had a good selection. It definitely isn't my favourite. My personal pet peeve in public libraries is when they don't split the fantasy and the romance, and they just put it all in one fiction category, because you literally have fantasy books next to romance books. So if I want a fantasy book, I can't just go look at the fantasy section. I have to know what I want before I go in there. But I will say that I loved their YA section, and they had some great seating options if you wanted to just like work from here or study from here. So I might be back, we'll see. I finished book shopping, I finished at the library. I honestly have had the most peaceful, relaxing morning. Wynnum, I think I love you. You're literally so beautiful. I just came and parked by the water, and I'm so mad that I didn't bring my current read with me, because I just want to sit by the water and read my book. There are so many cute little park benches. It is also the most beautiful day today. We have the perfect weather. This is the type of like winter that I love in Australia. What would it look like if I turn you around? Yeah, this is what I'm looking at right now. Like, is this not so beautiful? Look at this. Look at those little park benches. I want to be sitting there right now Well, I literally could, but I just didn't bring my book with me, so that was kind of dumb. But I already know that I'll definitely be coming back, whether it's for book shopping, whether it's to like check out cafes, because there are so many cafes here, whether I just come for a walk by the water or to come read my book, like I will be back. Also, I think this would be the perfect location if you were wanting to do a little like bookish day with your friends. You could do a little bookstore crawl. I mean, there's like 3 bookstores, but still. But there are so many cafes and also so many like boutique-y small business type of shops around. So if you just like want to walk around with your friends and go shopping and just have a really like a lovely day out, kind of feel like you're in a small town. It's so beautiful here. I just can't get over it. I do think I'm going to go to another bookstore on the way home because there were some books that I really wanted to pick up that I just didn't find today. So I might see if there's like a QBD or a Dimmicks on the way home to pick up those specific books. And then I guess I'll give you guys a haul. But today has been literally perfect so far. I just can't get over this weather. Like, look at the sky. It's perfect. Did you even go book shopping if you didn't go to Big W? That is the question. I feel like I haven't been coming to Big W as often as I used to. Like, I used to just come and check out which books I had all the time. And I feel like because I don't come as often, it's more fun because every time I come, it seems like there's always a bunch of new stuff. I feel like there are definitely a lot of books that I have my eye on, so I wanted to share with you guys a few that I have on my radar. If anyone has read any of the books that I show in these next few clips, like, please let me know your thoughts because I need to know. I need to know, are they worth it? Are they good? What are they like? Especially the fantasy ones, because I feel like I haven't heard anyone talk about them. So I'm very, very intrigued. It's now the next day and I wanted to give you guys a haul. Obviously, I want to show you the books that I bought yesterday, but I also thought I would show you all of the books that I've bought over the past couple of weeks, and I also have a couple from publishers and authors. Yeah, I've just accumulated quite a few books over the past few weeks, so I thought it would be fun to show you guys all of them. But I'll start off with the ones that I got yesterday. All of these books actually are ones that I've had on my radar for a really long time. Some of them are new releases and some of them are just ones that I've had my eye on for ages, and I finally picked them up, which I'm really excited about. So the first one that I picked up is one that went viral quite a few months ago. I feel like everyone was reading it on TikTok specifically. Like, that was where I saw the most like buzz about it, I guess. And I downloaded it onto my Kindle because it was on Kindle Unlimited at the time. I don't know if it still is, it might be, but then it got traditionally published in Australia. And every time I see the physical copy, I'm like, oh, I really want to get it. But then I'm like, no, I have it on my Kindle, I don't need it. But my issue with the books on my Kindle or my Kobo is that I forget that they exist sometimes because I don't see them. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy the physical copy because it might honestly make me read it sooner. So I picked up a copy of When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I think this author is Australian because I've seen some like signings and stuff in Australia. Born in New Zealand. Sarah now lives on the Gold Coast. She's literally a Queensland girly. That is so fun. Anyway, I've been wanting to read this for the longest time. I honestly have no idea what it's about. I know it's adult fantasy and that's all I know. She's a bit of a tome, but I'm excited to get to it. Let me know if you've read this and what your thoughts are because I've heard incredible reviews about it. Another one that I am so excited about is Dishonestly Yours by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is their newest release. If you don't know, these are the authors of the Addicted / Calloway Sisters series. I think I started this series in 2021 and I just fell in love. I really did. I haven't read anything else by these authors. They're sisters, if you don't know. I know that they have the Like Us series and stuff like that, but I've only read the Addicted Calloway Sisters series. But I was so excited when I heard that they were coming out with a brand new series. So this is the first book, Dishonestly Yours, and I think it has like mafia vibes in it or something along those lines. Or at least it surrounds families that are like in the crime world. I don't know. I think I kind of want to go in as blind as possible, but super excited to pick up that one. Another new release that I have just seen everywhere recently is Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. I was honestly debating whether I wanted to get this because I enjoyed the first book in this series, but I wasn't like obsessed. I don't think I've been like obsessed with anything Lauren Asher has written, but I do tend to enjoy it. So I was like, you know what? I think it'll just be a good time. The other reason why I've been putting off buying it is because what the heck is going on here? Why is it, what, like 600 pages? Oh, it is. It's over 600 pages. That's, just for some perspective, this is a normal romance book. Like, what do you have to say? What do you have to say in this? How do you have that much to say? Surely no one does in a romance. Like, unless you're Boys of Tommen or Magnolia Parks, I don't want to see this. But I think I'm gonna do it. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, Lauren Asher's writing is so like digestible. Like, it absorbs into your brain so quickly. So I don't think it'll feel like it's, I hope it doesn't feel like it's this long because this is so long. And that really, really, really scares me. But also the cover is so beautiful. Like I couldn't not own this. It's so pretty. I might end up buying this on my Kindle or my Kobo to like read it electronically so I don't have to like hold this tome, but we'll see. And then the last one that I bought yesterday is one that I've had my eye on for so long. And it's one of those books where every time I go book shopping, I see it and I almost buy it, and then for some reason I don't. Majority of the time I'm just like, oh, I shouldn't start a new series. I should finish some of the other series that I've already started before I start a new series. But I feel like I recently have finished a few series, so I decided I could justify it. And the book I'm talking about is this one. I actually don't know how to say it. Is it Akane? Akane? I'm not sure. But this is a series by Lynette Noni. I've heard really good things about it. I've read a few books by Lynette Noni. She's another Australian author, I'm pretty sure, which, huge slay. I've read the Prison Healer trilogy by her. I've also read the first book in the Whisper duology by her. And I've liked everything I've picked up from her, but I've never like been obsessed with anything I've picked up from her. But the premise of this one just sounds super interesting. My friend Freya really convinced me to pick it up. She raves about this one, but I'm pretty sure it's set at like a magical school or something. It's also YA fantasy. I don't think I mentioned that. On the back it says, dreading her first day at a new school, Alex is stunned when she walks through a doorway and finds herself stranded in Medora, a fantasy world full of impossibilities. Desperate to return home, she learns that only a man named Professor Marcel can help her, but he's missing. While waiting for him to reappear, Alex attends Akane Academy, Medora's boarding school for teenagers with extraordinary gifts. Like, that alone sold me. I love books set at boarding schools, at colleges, at, I don't know, just like prestigious like school vibes. It really sucks me in, especially fantasy books set at schools. It looks like it's kind of a long series, so I'm intrigued to try this one out and see what I think. We also have another pile of books that I bought from bookstores over the past couple of weeks. Firstly, this is no surprise to anyone, I'm sure, but I bought a copy of Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I bought this on release day. I have since read it, and I think you guys will see my thoughts on this in a video, hopefully coming kind of soon, because I did film a little reading vlog. If you guys don't know, this is a sequel to Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and I will say these look so beautiful next to each other. Like, how stunning is this? We have Powerless, which is the first book, then we have Powerful, which is a novella. This is the black, like, I don't know if special edition is the right word because it's not like a special edition, but in Australia they were selling a black copy, which is this one, and also a white copy, which is the exact same book just with a white cover instead of a black cover. But they had the options, and I just wanted to get the black one because I thought it would match my copy of Powerless a little bit better, and I'm so glad that I got the black one. I just got mine from QBD. I've got a few questions about where I got this copy from because I don't know if Big W and Kmart and stuff are selling the black copy. I'm not sure if they're just selling the white one, but I just got it from QBD. And then obviously we have Reckless, and just look how beautiful these look next to each other. I really appreciate that they match so well, and they just look so gorgeous on my shelf. So you guys will hear about my thoughts on that soon. Stunning. Another new release that I picked up recently is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. I'm so excited to pick this up. This is also the author of The 7-Year Slip and The Dead Romantics, and the premise of this one sounds phenomenal. It's about a woman who is on her way to a book club retreat, I think it says, and her car breaks down in a small town, and that small town happens to be the setting of her favorite romance book. So now she is like, she almost feels like she's living in her favorite romance book, and there is a grumpy bookshop owner that she meets, and I assume something happens between the two of them, but obviously I haven't read it, so I don't know. But I'm excited because this just looks so cute. A little bit of a random purchase. I was in my local QBD and they had these books on one of like the front tables as you walk in, and I have personally never seen these editions of these books, and I realized that they would match some other editions of other books that I have by this author, so I immediately had to pick them up. And the books I'm talking about are these ones here. So these are books by Emily Henry, and you might be like, Rachel, you already have the UK editions of Emily Henry's books, and you would be correct. However, these are actually the large print editions of her first 3 books, which are Beach Read, Book Lovers, and You and Me on Vacation. I don't really want to get into the whole like publishing industry debacle that we have here in Australia because it's just not important, but a very short version is Emily Henry's first 3 books got released in Australia in the normal paperback size. However, her last 2 releases have come out in the taller paperback size. And yes, they do eventually, after about a year of being published, come out in the smaller paperback size, but if you want to read them straight away, you have to buy the big paperback size. So this is what my UK Emily Henry editions have looked like for the past, I don't know, couple of years as I've owned them. But then, like I mentioned, I came across the large print editions at my QBD, and like I said, I had to purchase them immediately. And yes, they are a little bit different than the other ones we have here because they are this like shiny kind of material. They're not matte like Funny Story and Happy Place, but I'll take what I can get because look, they're all the same height, they all match, and I just feel so content having a matching collection of Emily Henry books. So did I need to buy another version of Emily Henry's books? No, I did not. I have so many versions of all of her books because I also collect the US editions, and I have a couple of special editions as well. But I now have matching UK paperbacks, and any books that she brings out in the future will be in this size, so therefore I will have matching editions of all of her books, and that is really important to me, so I needed to share. I would recommend checking out your local QBD to see if you have these in stock, if you want to have matching editions as well. It's so unimportant. It does not matter at all, but it makes me happy. And I think I'm going to keep my smaller paperbacks as my like borrow out copies because I love lending out my books to my friends, and my Emily Henry books are some of my most borrowed books. So it's nice that I can just like always have these ones being lent out, but also have my collection that is always on display, you know? Moving on, I have a couple of books that I received from a publisher, specifically Hachette. Shout out Hachette, I love you so much. Shout out Claudia. Thank you so much for sending me these. The first one that we have is The Match by Sarah Adams, which I'm so excited about. I'm pretty sure this is like an older book by Sarah Adams, like she wrote it quite a while ago, but it's been republished, or maybe this is the first time it's been traditionally published. I'm not exactly sure what the situation is, but I'm really excited because I haven't read this book by Sarah Adams, and I have really enjoyed everything I've read by her so far, so I'm excited to have this in my hands. It also just looks like it's going to be short and sweet, which sometimes is exactly what you need. I think they're also traditionally publishing The Enemy by Sarah Adams. This one here, I'm not sure if it's out yet, but I'm excited to have that one in my hands as well. And this is the other book they sent me. It's called Immortal Dark by Tigist Germa. I'm so sorry if I am pronouncing that incorrectly. This is an ARC copy. It comes out in September this year, and on the front it says, "No soul can enter without an invitation. This is yours." So it like looks like an invitation to like a secret society kind of vibe. I think this is set at like a boarding school, and it's a fantasy book. Wow, this map is beautiful. I don't actually know too much about this. I got sent the synopsis of it and it sounds really interesting. It says the cruel prince meets ninth house in this dangerously romantic dark academia fantasy where a lost heiress must infiltrate an arcane society and live with the vampire she suspects killed her family and kidnapped her sister. It sounds so interesting, so I'm very intrigued to read this. A couple months ago, I got sent this ARC copy of Fragile Sanctuary by Catherine Cowles, which I was so excited to receive because I really enjoy Catherine Cowles' books. She writes like small town romances mostly, I think, and a lot of them are like suspense romances, which I really enjoy. They're really interesting to me. So yeah, she sent me this ARC copy, which I just think is so beautiful. But then, like a week ago, I received a final copy of the same book, and it is like a special edition of it. It is so incredibly beautiful because not only is it a hardback and has this like foiling to it, but it also has these gorgeous ombre like stenciled edges with like dragonflies, I think. I just think this is like one of the most beautiful books I've ever owned. I cannot believe that I have it in my hands. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, Catherine Cowles, for sending me this. I'm also actually currently reading this right now, and it is really good so far. I'm like 30% of the way through, and it's about a girl who went through something quite traumatic when she was like a teenager, like early teenager. I think she was like 13, and has been dealing with a lot of grief ever since. And now she's an adult and she is trying to renovate this house, and she's getting some help to do that. And one of the people who are helping her renovate this house is this grumpy guy who's like very mysterious, doesn't let anyone in, has a lot of walls up, and I'm assuming it's going to be a romance between the two of them, which will be very interesting. I haven't really got that far into the whole romance side of things yet, but I'm really enjoying it. And also there's this whole like suspense element going on. Very intriguing. Very, very intriguing. I love romance books that have like an actual plot going on as well. It's not like the romance is the whole thing. There's also like things happening in the background. So very excited to continue reading this. And I feel like I saved the best till last because I received the most beautiful package maybe a couple weeks ago. I was hanging out with Lang and she was like, I got this package for you. It was sent to the office. And when she said that, I was like, what could this package be? And I opened it and it was a package from one of you guys, specifically the most beautiful girl called called Agnes. Shout out Agnes, thank you so much for sending me this package. She sent me this card and a book that I'll show you in a second, and a few other little things as well, which is literally the sweetest ever. Like literally wrote like the sweetest letter. I love handwritten letters. There is something about handwritten letters that really gets me every time. But basically, I just want to say, Agnes, I love you so much. Thank you so much. You are so generous. You did not have to do this at all. But she is from Germany and she's currently living in Australia. And she brought with her a German edition of Daisy Hates. And if you guys don't know, the German editions, or at least like the first print of all of the German editions of the Magnolia Park series, have sprayed edges. And I have wanted to get my hands on the sprayed edge German editions for the longest time, but they are so hard to get your hands on if you're in Australia. And so the fact that she sent me this, first of all, brought it with her from Germany and then packaged it up and sent it to me, like literally so sweet. Thank you again so much, Agnes. But like, I just feel very grateful to have people in my life that I've never met in person, but I feel like we're all best friends and we just all get each other. And I just can't believe that I have this community. But how beautiful is this? If you don't know, obviously I love Magnolia Parks so much, but I also have the German edition of the first book, so that is really special. I'm slowly collecting them, it seems, but I ordered the first book thinking that it was going to have the pink sprayed edges with the like magnolia flower stenciling on it, and it arrived and it did not have the sprayed edges, even though it was supposed to, which is fine. It still meant that I got another edition of one of my favorite books, so I'm just happy to have that. But the fact that I now have like a little matching set is just so special, and I already know that I'm going to display this book with the edges facing outwards. And also I had like the perfect amount of space for one more book on this shelf, and so this literally fits perfectly. This is so beautiful. I'm obsessed. I love it so much. But those are all of the books that I have just somehow accumulated in the past few weeks that I wanted to share with you guys. I'm sure I will be featuring some of these books in upcoming reading vlogs. Let me know if you want to see any of them specifically. And let me know if you enjoyed coming book shopping with me and if you would like to see more book shopping vlogs in the future and like going and visiting new bookstores. But I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.